I am currently hosting a 3-day dry fast on Instagram, and I'm currently on the dry fast, and there's many people on here that are also doing the dry fast as well. And just want to start this video off with a disclaimer that none of the that I say is medical advice. I'm not a doctor, and I'm just somebody who's experienced the depths of dry fasting and want to share that with the people. You know, nothing bad has happened. I've only cured myself of a few different autoimmune conditions, and I'm out here just to help people, so I'm putting myself out there. So we're on a 3-day dry fast, and I'm glad I got that warning over with so I can talk like bullshit now pretty much. So last live stream was really good. I enjoyed the connection with all you guys. Unfortunately, the live stream got taken down and deleted. So this one, that won't happen. Fortunately enough, I have one of my followers is actually an employee for Instagram. So they were able to kind of like go into the system, and it's currently pending to see if they can actually, go into the system to find that live stream. So pretty much this will be recorded and this will be posted, debating on the questions that are asked. If it gets too controversial with like the virus that's circulating on right now, then I probably won't post that material. I'll cut it off, but we'll save the controversial questions to the very end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin people's questions to the live stream, and I'll answer this so everyone can see what's being answered. But yeah, congratulations to make it to day 3 on this dry fast. You guys are badass. It's really hard to make it 3 days on a dry fast. It's anybody who does more than 72 hours is a mental ninja, in my opinion. And even today, day 3, I've done like hundreds of dry fasts. Day 3 sucks. It really is not fun. Like, I'm really just kind of a little tired. I'm not like all mentally there. You're kind of like in the depths of ketosis, and your body's like, are we really transitioning into ketosis? Because I don't really want to do that. And so once you do it, it feels so much more normal. It feels like that's the state you should be in. And so I mean, day 4 and day 5, you kind of come out of it, and you're like, okay, there is the light. I see the light. So what I wanted to say also is that like my future plans for these dry fasting live streams, this is probably gonna be the last one for a bit. I'm not gonna do the monthly dry fasting coaching like I thought I was going to do. It just takes a lot of energy and time, and like the DMs get like flooded with like questions. There's so many people out there who are sick and need help, and it's a lot of effort. So I'll probably be doing them once every 3 months instead of once every month. So this will be the last live stream for a long time. Although I do enjoy doing them. And for people who haven't done them, they're like really nerve-wracking for the first minute, and then once you get through that, it becomes like really fun and beneficial. It's kind of like talking on stage. It's a weird thing because you press that like live button and it turns into a completely different world, where people are actually viewing you. It's strange. So pretty much I'm already getting warning messages from Divine Bliss. So the first question I asked, are you taking questions? Yeah, I'm taking questions. So you guys can ask any question you want, anything at all. It could be spiritual, it could be medical, it could be absolutely anything. I've done like so much research to heal myself of these conditions that I had. So to debrief people on what I've actually healed, I've healed like a fungal infection in my blood that was kind of popping up warts all over my body. I had a mycoplasma pneumonia infection that antibiotics weren't working. I did long-term antibiotics, they just didn't work. And what that did is that created a bunch of sinus congestion and brain fog, and my ears were always clogged. I had like, there was a mucus film in my lungs at all times. I was like popping up like eczema type symptoms. That's why I consider a lot of these things as mucus microorganism type symptoms. So a lot of things act like that, including the virus that's circulating right now. So you can defeat that with dry fasting, along with numerous other things. And so this is gonna be my last live stream for a while, and probably for like another 3 months. But I'm really happy you guys all made it through this 3-day dry fast. Congratulations, you guys are badasses. What's up, Ellie Barber? I actually wanted to connect with you about the diabetic thing. So I have some cool revelations on that. So the first question we have here, I'm pinning so you guys can see it, and I'll also say it out loud so people can hear it as well. I wanted to know, this one's from Anita and Linda, I wanted to know about loose skin if you're fasting for weight loss. I wanted to avoid it as much as possible. So yeah, like this is, you found the golden nugget, like it's dry fasting. Like you do juice fast and you lose all that weight, you get skin sag. You do water fasting, you lose all the weight, you get skin sag. What does dry fasting do the best? It actually eats up the proteins in your skin. It prevents skin sag as much as you possibly can because it wants to eat that excess sag. So all these people who have lost like 300 pounds on like a year-long water fast, they're really covering up their skin sag. And if we're all honest, like congratulations for losing 300 pounds, but the skin sag doesn't look the best. And I can say that because there is an alternative thing you can do, which is dry fasting. And you can normally do that in, so my remedy for loose skin is like collagen. You want proper collagen in your body, and it's not by eating collagen. You can't eat collagen to have collagen. It doesn't work like that. So you have to eat kind of like denser foods to build a little bit, not just fully fruitarian, just a little bit denser foods like carb foods, like quinoa, and just like, and you also want to do exercise and work your body out, and you want to do dry fasting routine. Dry fast 24 to 48 hours each week, and that's how you can, after you got to the weight you want to be, you can customize it at that point, and that's the regimen for preventing loose skin. Yeah, you can avoid it, and it's by dry fasting. So once again, for all the people who are signing on now, like we're in the middle of we are finishing a 3-day dry fast. We just have 12 more hours to go, pretty much 14 more hours. And then we're done. Everyone's thinking about coconut water and like breaking it. For all those who are like eating and drinking, like you don't understand how much people want to like eat fruits and drink juices. It's so blissful. So this person, Surfer Wright, says, can dry fasting cure cancer, you think? So this is like, this is a controversial topic, but we'll answer it anyway. If I had stage 4 cancer, I would absolutely dry fast. If I had any, stage 5 becomes tricky because you didn't know this information to the very end, and now what ends up happening is you can run your body into the ground at that point. So you're dry fasting, which is a stress onto the body, and your body's incorporating autophagy and all that, but your body doesn't have the energy to fight it off at the very end. So like you want to find fasting before you get to stage 4 in realistic terms. So I absolutely do think it can cure cancer. What I find across the board is that people need to wean into it. They're scared to go 3 days, 5 days, but that's where the beauty is. The beauty is actually going longer than the 5 days, because the autophagy just gets exponentially more profound. Like it's a known thing that 1 day dry fasting is 3 days in a water fast, and a water fasting is really, really intense. So if you deprive your body of water, it's looking for water from within you. So imagine how exponentially more effective that must be. You know, and I've done a couple 20-day dry fasts. So what you end up doing is you go long enough for, so you're starving out the cancer, and you're starving out whatever parasite or fungus that you have. So we use that word cancer, but cancer is really just like kind of blockages in the body that kind of are able to slow the body down in order to kind of create like a cancerous state, that oxygen's not able to get to that part of the body, right? So what happens to things that don't move that fast? What happens when you leave food out on the counter? It gets fungus. What happens to animals that don't move that fast as it is? There's plenty of animals. I'm blanking on that one animal that moves really slowly, and it's in Peru. It has long fingernails and it kind of crawls, but it grows fungus on it. Anything that moves slowly, you want to keep things flowing at all times. Get the blood flowing. How do you do that? Clean the blood out with fasting. You can do it with iodine as well. And this is how you get into less cancerous states, because every single person on the entire planet has cancerous cells in them right now. It's just a matter of if you're allowing them to proliferate in your body or not. And you can manage that by doing monthly dry fast, yearly dry fast, and that way you get a hold on it. Dry fasting is nothing more than a dissolver. It dissolves physical blockages. It also dissolves emotional, spiritual blockages as well. And it sounds like a woo-woo thing for me to say, but I'm not a crier, and I cry a lot on my dry fast. So thank you for the great question. I love talking about that. Surfer, right? Good to see you, Raw Vegan family. And how's it going? And I love her VC. You were very lovely last live stream. I'm sorry that it didn't get saved, because that was an amazing live stream, and it kind of feels like you type out like a 10-page paper, and then like the computer shuts off and nothing gets saved. Everybody has experienced that, and it sucks. Like you're like, I have to write that all over again. So I just kind of blanked it out, moved forward with it, and just know it's in the ether somewhere. Hopefully that lady can resolve that issue. So Regina of Tropical said, I just quit. My heart was beating like crazy, dizzy. So that wasn't a question, but yeah, that's a good, you listen to your heart. That's exactly what you should do. You should listen to your heart figuratively and literally. So if it's beating like crazy, that means your blood got thick too soon. And so therefore your body was craving hydration. You can work through it, but it's not really worth it. You want to kind of take these things easy and go for another 3-day dry fast until that doesn't happen. And then you push the barrier a little bit farther and you're able to go deeper into detoxification. So you did a great thing. Definitely break anytime your heart goes crazy. That's the one factor to really abide by. And the other one is kidney stiffness and kidney swollenness as well. Thank you for all the hearts, by the way. You guys are awesome. I usually push that button a lot too. Dancing Star Child says, I was weak and lightheaded. My heart was beating faster last night and kept me up, but I am committed to continue. Yeah, good job. Like, if your heart isn't creepy, if your heart rate isn't staying above like 110 for like 10 minutes, then you're okay to continue. If it's kind of staying below 100 beats per minute, it's all good. So it's a blessing and a curse. Your blood gets thicker so that your red and white blood cells can track down things that don't belong in the body, in the blood, and they'll clean it out. So it's a benefit that your blood gets thicker, but it also is a factor in breaking it as well. So it's kind of like a catch-22. You go as long as your heart will allow you to, and that's the communication aspect with your body. How you doing, Daily Dandelion? We're about to do a podcast with her. She did a recent dry fast. Should be fun. Angela Polson says, if the weight loss is welcome and wants to stay off, how do we handle the post-fast and keep weight off? That's a great question, and I can answer that really quickly. And you do that you keep weight off after a fast by understanding how this whole entire physical game works. Yes, you might have to resolve diabetes issues. That's the one factor. If your insulin responses are kind of a little wacky, then it's a little bit harder. But you want to keep a fasting focused lifestyle. That's the key. So you want to understand that these fruits and vegetables are not going to add weight to your body like any processed carbs will, any processed sugars will. You want to stay away from processed foods at all costs, because actually, this is a really cool theory I had today, and I think it's applicable. So like when you put processed foods in your body and processed sugars, it's kind of like throwing a plastic cup on the earth, because the earth doesn't know what to do with it. It just stays there for years. You throw a banana peel on the earth's like, oh, we know what this is. We'll just, it's biodegradable. We'll just disintegrate it. So if you put processed foods in your body, it confuses your insulin response. So your pancreas produces insulin, and your insulin will just kind of stand there in your blood being like, what the hell is this? Like, we don't know this fake sugar. We don't know these fake foods. Like, do we put this in our body? We don't want to. And so it's kind of like, then you go to the doctor and you're like, hey, give me some insulin. And your body's like so confused at that point, because now you're putting fake insulin in your body for the fake sugars you're still eating. So you understand like this dilemma. So that's kind of like the whole thing summed up into a minute. And so what ends up happening, the example I thought of today was, imagine a bunch of kids in a playground and like a gumball machine just explodes and it goes all over the ground. And the kids are like, oh my God, yes, want to go for the gumballs. It's free gum. Everyone go for it. So the kids are the insulin, and the gumballs are the blood sugar in your body. So the kids are the insulin and the gumballs are the blood sugar in your body. So when the kids go for the gumballs, they're like, oh my God, yes, hoard it. Like this is free energy. Let's go for it. And then all of a sudden, just imagine like 100 more gumball machines break. And the kids are like, oh, like this is just way too much sugar. Like they all just stand there and they're confused, and it's just like, what do? We hoard our pockets with as much gumballs, but there's a surplus of glucose in the blood. And not only that, but it's fake glucose. And if you do that over and over again, it ends up being a dilemma. So you keep the weight off by understanding that you need to do a fasting focused lifestyle, which is one fast a week, maybe 24 hours, maybe one fast every 2 weeks. You do 48 hours every 2 weeks. And then you want to kind of get off the processed carbs and processed foods, and you want to incorporate exercise in your body, because when you exercise, you're allowing your red blood cells to go to parts of your body that it wasn't really going to initially. So therefore, it's more accessible fat. Okay, that's why exercise and walking is important, is because you're allowing your body to access fat easier, because the red blood cells are like, oh, this is new pathways I can go to. Because when you're sedentary, your red blood cells aren't really going to those parts of the body. You're just holding onto that fat. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. And just prioritize keeping the colon clean. So we're probably gonna do like a 45-minute live stream today, and so we've done a little bit already. But I finished so we're not going to go as long as usual. We're just probably going to go for a little bit and just kind of call it a day. I finished a 3-day dry fast last week. I noticed my skin cleared up a lot several days after I broke the fast. Beautiful, yeah. So look at the extremes. So that question's from Boom Snap Orb. So he noticed that his skin cleared up a bunch of the dry fast. So if you were to do a 12-day dry fast, quite like one of my clients did the other day, she finished a 12-day dry fast after doing 0 days before that. It's so rare to do that, and she just completely demolished it. So she's experiencing skin shedding after that, because you kind of like, your body killed off a bunch of dead cells that are worthless in the body, so purge those cells, and you're getting a whole new epidermis layer on your body that it's shedding. It's kind of like you rebirth yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually. So on a 3-day dry fast, you're getting a little iota of that, right? And I mean, my skin is really good, I think, and it's because I dry fast all the time, and I'm also rehydrating properly as well. You want to rehydrate very well on juices, and also incorporating aloe juice, drinking the aloe instead of applying it topically. I'm telling you, that's a game changer for all you guys that look past that post. Aloe juice and aloe water is super, super beneficial, and it's an enzyme, so it dissolves biofilm as well. So people with eczema, it's going to be helpful. Just kind of amp it up, and you're probably going to, if you go out and you drink too much aloe juice, you might shit your pants. So kind of like get used to it and see what you can handle. You'll notice, I swear you'll notice your skin get clearer, and it's a good thing to break your fast with. But awesome, Boom Snap Orb, crazy name. Dancing Star Child. If anybody wants a question asked, just put a question mark in the sentence so I can see that's a question. Engaluzzi says, had a hard time sleeping the past 2 nights, and I usually sleep well. Could there be a reason for that? Yeah. So water fasting and dry fasting are the only fast you can do. Juice fasting is not really a fast. Juice fasting is what they call a solid food vacation. They should call it juice cleansing. It's not juice fasting. They're kind of giving it too much credit. Water fasting and dry fasting, for people who've done it, know that this is hardcore. It's not easy. People talk about it, but like once you do it, you're like, oh, okay, this is not pleasant at first, and then you kind of get to these benefits, and you're like, oh, I want to do that again. When can I do that again? It's a very strange thing. So to answer your question on why you haven't been sleeping, so dry fasting works. It's a hormesis effect, and what I mean by that is that benefits come from stressors kind of being instigated in the body. So you have stress in the body. That's good stress. Like hormonal stress is not always bad. So you have human growth hormones that are good, and that's applying to you right now as well. So that happens because it instigates the autophagy effects. It instigates the inflammatory effect. So the good things are instigated from stress, and it's only a brief thing. So learn to enjoy staying up, like when you can't go to sleep, like read a book, or like practice breathing, or like just get some cool fresh air coming from the window, and kind of learn to like the nights, you know, because every single hour counts. You're doing a lot for your body every hour in the dry fast. So it's just a little bit of stress. Your body's not used to it, but I swear, like you can go to sleep. The more you fast, the easier it becomes. I used to be the same thing as you, and I can sleep soundly up until day 11, and then I'm kind of just needing only 2 hours of sleep. That usually comes during the daytime because I'm up all night. But I know my body's healing anything after day 11, so it's worth it. Hopefully that answers your question. I've been answering questions more long-windedly lately, if that's even a word. So yeah, how you doing, Cassia Foy? Good to see you. So Forbidden Fruit Jewelry says, she says, I feel a dull pain in my lower back. Is it the kidney problem? I don't have any history of kidney issues. So based on me not having any further information, I would say it's one of 2 things. It can be, since you have such an anti-inflammatory effect on the body, it's pulling liquids from your bones that, like in between your bones and also your spine, that shouldn't be there. Mucus is being pulled. So it's kind of like leveling out your bone structure to be a more natural position. So it could be a readjusting of your spine, but since it's in your lower back, we can assume that it's kidney issues, and you can feel it. If you rub your hand on the lower of your back and you feel sensitivity, that means that it is kidney issues, and that means that your blood is filtering at too fast of a capacity. It's being like overburdened, and that gets lessened in the longer you do fast. And that means that if the kidneys get super sensitive, that's when you break the fast. You don't want to get like, if it's just like a little tiny bit of kidney pain, that's okay to push forward. But then if it gets like more difficult to deal with, it's definitely good to break it. And not only break it, but break it on water with baking soda, like a lot of these people know. Because the baking soda, the sodium bicarbonate, is like a cheat code. It'll go into your kidneys, dissolve all these blockages, and then just like unplug the calcification that's occurring there. That's usually protein buildup. That's why muscle builders have problems with their kidneys, because they're eating so much protein, they're creating a beaver dam essentially. So yeah, break it on sodium bicarbonate, which is high quality baking soda without aluminum. Daily Dandelion says, are you writing a book on fasting? Yeah, I finished the book actually. Debating the title right now, because I was going to name it Going Gandhi because he did 21-day dry fast as much as he could, and he kind of claimed it was like for political reasons because he was like going on strike, but in reality he was a genius because he was actually benefiting his body at the same time he was claiming it as for political reasons. So he was just playing everybody pretty much. So yeah, I read the book and it's scientific. It's nothing really spiritual. It just shows you my exact protocol and how I healed my body of those 3 different illnesses. And so people can kind of like, it's like a how-to thing. They can buy it. People like reading books, and I put my heart, mind, and soul into that. So it should be a good one. Good to see you, Readventuring Grayly, and Bambi555. Ital Gardner says, what would I expect if I decide to go past the 3 days to 5 days? If your heart is able to handle it and you feel like you're flowing, then I definitely would advise you to keep going until your kidneys or your heart kind of tell you otherwise. So when you get past 3 days, you stop hearing from that internal bacteria in your body that's kind of like convincing your mind. You can expect to be more clear-minded. So you're going to get more control of your mind and your body and soul. On day 5, that's pretty much when it kind of unkinks that, and that's when it kind of gets like a sliver of the spiritual aspect of these dry fasts. Day 5 is the one that happens. So you'll kind of you'll feel like complete lucidity, and you'll feel like it should be like you won't have any more hunger anymore, but the thirst always remains. So you can expect to just feel a little more clear-minded, and you'll feel like your vision got a little better, your smell got a little bit better, but you should get kind of like acclimated with operating in like a fatigued state, like a slightly fatigued state. You're not going to be at a high 100% because your body's healing at such a great capacity that you need to kind of like get comfortable with that, you know, because this whole process is like somewhat uncomfortable, but you are experiencing so much detoxification. I mean, if you can cure cancer, tumors, herpes, you can cure any type of mucous microorganism, then there has to be some kind of catch to it. Like I say, you earn your cure. Would dry fasting help with digestive issues? So yeah, so a lot of people come to me with like colitis, and they come to me with like all sorts of parasites in their digestion, like worms. I got rid of some worms on day 7 of a dry fast, and it's kind of a weird thing to pass worms, but it happens. I mean, like everybody has candida, and everybody pretty much has worms, because if your tongue gets white on a dry fast, you have candida, and everybody pretty much has it. So what you do is you really want to accentuate this process. You want to, yeah, dry fasting would help digestive issues. You want to clean the colon out completely, like make sure all the gook is coming out with the enemas. So you want to do 5 sessions one morning, and then the previous day from the dry fast, and then in the day of the dry fast, you do another series of enemas, get it completely squeaky clean, so that there's nothing that the bacteria can feed on. So there's nothing that the worms can feed on anymore. And so when you're dry fasting, they're kind of like, where the hell is all this? And it's going to be difficult for the first 3 days because they're going to be pissed off, and them dying off is not a pleasant experience for them, and they're going to also make it not pleasant for you. So the first 3 days are going to be kind of like uncomfortable, and you're probably not going to make it through it. A lot of people don't, but if you do, you'd be like, oh shit, I feel really good, and it actually worked. And so that's when you start resolving these digestion issues. And so if you can make it into these deeper fasts, like beyond 5-7 days with guidance, then you can pretty much cure any digestive issues. I used to have digestive issues as well. I had a whole plethora of issues, but the 3 main autoimmune issues were very debilitating for me, and that's what made me seek out dry fasting in the end. So I know this is a crazy concept for a lot of people, like not eating and not drinking. So it's just, but that's what works. I mean, you're going into your natural state. You're going into your natural state, which is pretty much relying on your body and nothing else. Like that's everything. So when you do that, you're knowing thyself more so. So that's where the spiritual component comes into play. Is like you healed yourself, you healed your vessel at such a capacity. It's the opposite of drunkenness. It's the opposite of being on like a drug. It's hardcore sobriety. So the kind of analogy I like to use with that is like, imagine someone who's really drunk. They kind of black out. And they don't even know where they're at. Like their soul is compromised because the spiritual state is also very compromised because they're drunk. So imagine doing the complete opposite, going completely sober and doing dry fasting. You're decalcifying your body, dissolving all these blockages. Imagine how much more clairvoyant you get. Imagine much more how lucid your mind gets when you do that. So that's why all these badasses in history, biblically and the Quran, they were all fasting. They're all trying to tell you fasting is the shit, because that's where they get to know thyself, which is God exists within you. That's the whole thing. If you want to go to church, that's exactly what they're trying to tell you every single Sunday. Well, they're not really trying to tell you anything, but it's like that's the whole message. God exists within you, and get to know Him better. It's by fasting, in my opinion. I didn't really know God that well up until I started fasting, honestly. And then I just blew the top off. Now I see everything as spiritually inclined, and I see the world just riddled in distortions. So the people who were there for the diabetic analogy earlier, that's an inversion as well, right? Because that's a distortion of evil, because they're putting fake things in you and your body's confused. If you put fake foods in you, it's an inversion, your body's confused. So like all this shit's inverted. Like a lot of politics, religious stuff, like things that look like truth aren't the truth. And it's confusing to you, but this is all just meant to be figured out. And the less distorted you are, the better you can navigate this planet and also your spiritual state. So thanks Luke says, not on a dry fast, but went wet fast, which is, I guess that means that he went water fast. Wet fast means water fast to some people, I guess. Lumps have been becoming prevalent under my skin, behind my nipples, places on my head, other parts of my chest and stomach, normal detox symptoms. Yeah, so you're kind of describing, so like see how it's going to your nipples and like on your head and on your chest and stomach. Your nipples are like part of your nervous system, and your chest and the chest and usually your back is it's the front and back part of your lungs. So it's kind of like in your, I wouldn't be surprised if you had brain fog consistently and your sinuses were congested after you eat certain foods, because it seems like you have a mucus microorganism that's kind of like hijacking your body, and it's manageable. You can live your life, and people go through their life with mucus microorganisms and never know that they have it. The most under-researched thing on this planet is parasites. So when you have this kind of condition, that means that it's showing its head. It's showing that it's pissed off that you're water fasting, and it's knowing that if you keep doing this, it's going to get eradicated completely. But it's like, where the hell can we find our food now? And it starts relocating to those points, right? And it goes to the surface, because usually there's proteins on the skin that it can feed off of in the meantime. So that's good, because they know it's vanishing, right? They know the proteins are vanishing, so it's food it's not available anymore. So that's why you have something called a Herxheimer reaction is what you're experiencing right now. It's scientifically what they call the Herxheimer reaction, when you're experiencing healing reactions. And usually people stop during those times, but it's not a time to stop. It's time to proceed and actually resolve the issues completely. And if your heart and kidneys allow you to, I urge you to press on. But if your hearts and kidneys don't allow you to, then I would break it and just revisit the fast on another day. Yeah, it's blatantly detox symptoms, but it's also showing you that you have issues in the body. Like this is a mucus microorganism. There's a couple of things you can do for that too. So I'm about to give you like a nugget of what you can do between your fast. Like I would look into obviously doing the aloe, and actually like just DM me, and I'll tell you some other things you can do besides like the aloe and the fasting. It has to do with like iodine, which is like a natural substance you can take. It comes from the earth. It used to be in the top layer of the earth, but we've kind of just scorched the top layer, so it doesn't exist in anything that's kind of near the top layer. So sugarcane roots have the iodine, and so does seaweed and stuff like that. But your body is now being inundated with these mucus microorganisms because there's not anything to clean your body off. People aren't fasting, and people don't have enough iodine in their diet to clean off the body. The iodine is very antimicrobial, anti-parasitic. I would recommend looking into the iodine Facebook group. You can learn a lot more about that. You can always just not do it at all and just stick to the fasting and clean eating. But sorry for the long-winded question. This person has another question. Hevs VB says, if I didn't start with a baking soda drink, can I still fast without it, I guess? This mix is the only with plain water, right? Yeah, just mix the baking soda with plain water. Don't mix it with anything really else, because the baking soda is like the most alkaline thing you can drink. It's sodium bicarbonate. It's like a 10 out of 10 on the pH scale. So like if you infuse it with things that are acidic, then it's lowering that bioavailability of the sodium bicarbonate, so it's not able to do its job as efficiently. So yeah, drink the baking soda with the water after your fast, high quality aluminum-free baking soda, and then wait like 30 minutes. Make sure you can do like a liter with baking soda, like 2 teaspoons in a liter. Finish that, and then wait like 30 minutes to an hour, and then you can start drinking other things. But let that really circulate in your body and your kidneys. Yeah, you can smash open some coconut water as well. But like if you do like have kidney issues, I advise you to definitely do the baking soda. So this person says, Mute Testament says, do you know what causes frequent burping, even though you are raw vegan, mostly fruits? Yeah, so usually like when things aren't really, it's kind of a mixture of carbon dioxide and nitrogen, and it's pretty much a function of your bacteria not being able to digest something. So like, and that's what kind of causes like gaseous states. So like when your bacteria is seeing a new food, like you can experience kind of like a gaseous state, and it's not as proficient at digesting something. So the bacteria will kind of like, it'll stick around, and it'll cause like these kind of elements to occur and create like these gas bubbles. So I'm not sure if anybody's experienced getting hiccups off of eating spicy foods, but that's exactly what happens with the nitrogen there as well. So you're experiencing it right away. You start getting burpy after spicy foods, but it's just a function of the bacteria not digesting that efficiently. So okay, so this person says, is water fasting or dry fasting more beneficial for diabetics? They're both very beneficial for diabetics. So pretty much you can cure type 2 diabetes very easily. Type 1 is kind of like you have to wean off the insulin kind of thing. They're both curable, but the type 1 is more of an arduous pursuit. So with the type 2, you kind of want to like do a lot of fasting, and you want to rehydrate properly, but you want to introduce your natural state, because when you fast, your insulin levels will drop, and your blood sugars will be utilized by the body because you're in a starvation state, right? So now everything is being regulated and becoming natural temporarily while you're fasting. So everything becomes normal. It's just up to you to be on a healthy diet after that, no processed foods, no processed sugars, so that you can keep that normal natural state going. And then you kind of just wean off of the insulin on the type 2 diabetes. It's by doing frequent fasts. They're both very, very beneficial. I don't think one is more beneficial than the other with diabetes. I think they both can be implemented very well. You just get more benefits with dry fasting. So this person says, Ronus Liberdad says, do you feel the moment where the holy fire came inside you? I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it's the physical fire, but yeah, the physical fire comes to you like on like I usually like day 6 or day 7, and it stays with you all the way through until your body is completely healed of whatever. The holy fire comes to you usually on day 11, when you get more spiritual aspects of the fast. So what do you think? So Be Fruitful says, what do you think about Dr. Philonov's recommendation that if you're gonna take the jab, to do it on a 4 of a 9-day dry? Would it be better to be a bit obstructed to not be so sensitive to toxins. I'm not sure what the second question means, but yeah, I think that's spot on. I don't want to really talk too much about that right now because I want to post this video. So I'll try to address that towards the end of the video if you don't mind. Be fruitful. Yeah, so Johnny Sampler says, like, don't take it at all. Yeah, that's one option. You just can't travel at all. But if you do take it, you can resolve issues. It seems like 9 days dry fasting can, I guess I'll answer it right now. 9 days dry fasting will kind of resolve any issues from the virus that's circulating right now that everyone's talking about. And it'll also kind of be a good thing to get any vaccination properties out of the body as well. It'll kind of like re-regulate and make the body more in its natural state. A 9-day dry fast. Just work your way up to it if you really care about it enough. It's very doable. It'll come and go. Like 9 days isn't really that long. Plus it'll do your body a really good deal of good work. Can fasting shrink enlarge prostate? That's a good question. So I think that it seems like people with prostate issues don't realize that it's obviously a blockage, and people who can't like urinate properly. So there's things you can do to dissolve that kind of thing. So people like enzymes. There's one enzyme that's it's derived from fruits. I forget what it's called. Oh, it's like okra. It's called okra 3 pepsin. Okra 3 pepsin is an enzyme that dissolves calcification in the prostate. So that's kind of an external thing you can take. But fasting definitely can shrink, and it shrinks all lymphatic nodes, all like enlarged kidneys. Like it's a dissolver. It's going to dissolve anything that's in the prostate as well, because it wants. If anything is redundant or everything is not needed in the body, it'll chew right through it. It'll eat it. It's not useful, you know. So, just like I said in the last live stream, like if it sees fungus or it sees like a cancerous cell, it uses that as H2O and energy. It's kind of like, F you, we want that energy, and we're going to eat you for our own sake because we're trying to survive, and you don't belong here at all. You know, that's why dry fasting kills off cancers and tumors and all that stuff, is because it's recognizing something that doesn't belong and it's using it as energy and H2O. That's why your skin gets so clean. That's what that person was saying earlier. Everybody says their skin gets cleaner on a dry fast. I completely attest that as well. Why? Because your body's eating those proteins that are on your body, on your skin that are not really of purpose. It's declogging your skin, and you'll notice that you don't need as much sunscreen as you once did, because you're become more of a solar panel, and the sun is like more of an energy source than it is an inhibitor or a cancer causer. So it will, in my opinion. So yeah, so I guess people are answering each other in the stream as well. So I love her VC says, so we're probably gonna do like 2 or 3 more questions, and then we're probably gonna be finished, because I'm also dry fasting right now. It's day 3 for me. And this is actually the last live stream for a long time, probably 3 or 4 months. It's just a lot of work to kind of like, there's so many people in the DMs that are like looking to like cure cancer and cure tumors and like STDs and all that stuff. And it's tiresome, and I'm not making any money on this. Like I'm not asking for money either. I'm literally just, I would be emulating what the pharmaceutical industry is doing, is like I'm asking for money by like trying to get people healing, and that's just counterintuitive. I'd rather just do all these things for free, you know, and keep it that way. I'll never ask for money from people. So all the money that goes to my consults is really just going to charities. So it's just going to a charity for clean water, clean air, and for child trafficking as well. So you can be rest assured you're accomplishing 2 things. You're finding healing, and you're also like solving the world's issues as well. So this person says, can you discuss water retention or regaining water post dry fast? And did you find that you gained less weight back the more dry fasting you and the cleaner you got? So she's saying like, do you how was the weight gain afterwards, and did you and how is the water retention post fast? So the water retention post fast is, so since you completely used the water inside you, like, so now you're able to recycle that, and kind of like that past traumatic water, that, because water holds frequency as well, you're able to put the healthiest waters you possibly can, put the healthiest juices, the healthiest living waters in your body, because now you're going to be a vessel of living water. A vessel of living waters in those juices as well. So you're a cleaner person, because if the majority of your body is water, why not recycle all that? Because the only way to tap into that water is by fasting, right? Why not recycle all of that and actually put clean, living, high vibe water into your body and rebuild it? So you're pretty much like baptizing yourself on these fasts, really. So you'll gain weight back at the capacity. This is going to sound complicated. You'll gain weight back at your level of understanding of how this whole biology thing works. So if you're going back onto processed foods and like Burger King and McDonald's, you're going to gain weight back really, really frequently. If you're going back on like a bunch of like processed sugars, you'll gain weight really frequently. But you want to kind of revert back to foods that are living foods, like raw foods. Don't really cook as much as you did before. You want to have like fruits and vegetables, and like think about your colon cleansing. It's all about that, your second brain. You want to put the healthiest foods in your body that are able to go through your body as easily as possible. So I can answer that by saying what foods don't go through your body as easily as possible, what foods don't process, that take a few days to process. They are meats. They are like really dense meats. They stay in your body. Look it up. It stays in your body like after more than 72 hours, and that starts fermenting in your colon and causes it causes more issues. It causes like hormonal issues. It can cause it also causes like plaque. So like the meat turns into like a plaque, believe it or not, like a black plaque that fills your veins. It fills like all over your body, and especially your colon. It kind of blocks you from getting more nutritional states. Cheese also is hard to process. Wheats and grains are hard to process. Have you noticed, if you kind of go through the history of like when people's lifespan started declining, it's 12,000 years ago, and that's exactly when Noah's Ark apparently happened, and that's exactly when people's lives started going from 1,000 years to 800 years down to where we're at now at an average age life of 80 years. I firmly do believe that we can climb back up to 1,000 years. It's going to sound ridiculous, right? But I think that everyone just dies from blockages. It's blood clots. It's eventually their heart can't take it, and the blood becomes too thick, because what happens when you get older, your immune system starts declining, right? And that's when internal microorganisms can start feeding and creating beaver dams at a capacity that your blood can't flow properly again, thus dying at age 80. But you can achieve these longer lifespans if you understand how this biology thing works with the fasting and with the movement and keeping things circulating. It's all about that. Dissolving blockages in every capacity, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And ironically enough, the more this is such a funny pursuit, because dry fasting showed me the more I dry fasted, the more spiritual I became, and the more spiritual I became, the more my body was representative of that, and so therefore, it's more conducive to living on this planet, right? So the more spiritual awakening, the more truth you have in your body, the more your physicality is going to look like. It's going to be responsive to that. Your physical body should look as far as you are along spiritually, in my opinion. So this person says, how much aloe do you drink each glass? I usually put a half a cup and mix it in my 32-ounce juice. That's beautiful. I have over 200 aloe plants, so I can drink more. Yeah, like I think the best thing to do with aloe is like, it's obviously not a dangerous thing to have too much of. Like have too much one day. Have like 2 cups or something in the 32 ounces and see what that does. And if you start shitting your pants, then you're able to regulate it and understand what's enough for you. So for me, I put about a half a cup in probably about like 16 to 24 ounces. So I put a half a cup of aloe water in 16 to 24 ounces. But since you're taking it from aloe plants, I would probably diminish that a little bit. I'd probably do like a pinky size in like 32 ounces. And then you'll see like dramatic benefits. Ingesting aloe is where it's at, not putting it topically, because ingesting it, you get it systemically. Healing with Alexandra says, what would you advise instead of aloe vera juice? Would you, if we don't have it, find it? I don't really know something that works as beneficial as aloe. Aloe is a game changer for sure. Obviously fasting is as well, juice fasting, but aloe has the enzymes that you kind of want, and it gives your body hydration afterwards. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world, but just kind of try to find a way to get it somehow. And we'll just do 2 more questions. So anybody with like menstruation questions, just kind of like DM me and I'll answer that. She's saying is it safe to dry fast during your period? People have a lot of issues with with that question actually. So pretty much like you're shedding when you're in your menstruation. So like fasting is also helping with the shedding process. It's also helping with the detoxification effect. So, but people can actually confuse their cycles with fasting during their menstruation. So that's why I can't comment on it. I'm not a girl, and so I don't really know how menstruation affects fasting that well. So I can't really answer that thoroughly. So this person says, Nazud says, can I rid all parasites in my body through a 3-day water fast? No, you cannot. You can't, like, but it's a really good foundation to do. Like, if you research fasting more and more, you're going to see that you can rid the parasites in your body if you go like to the greater extents. It's the long fasts. Like, it's hidden information because people don't really want to tell you, one, because they don't want your healing, and two, because they don't want the legal repercussions. I'm just saying F it, and that's why I'm telling people the truth. Like, this is how it is. Like, you need to earn your cure. You need to go into the depths. Work with a 3-day dry fast or 3-day water fast, and if that didn't work for you, go to 5 days, go to 7 days, as much as your body can handle until it's like, okay, my heart's having some issues, and that's time. You're communicating with your body and essentially becoming your own doctor in this process. So if you want this enough, like, you're going to do what it takes to rid your body of parasites. So for me, I wanted to do it a lot. Like, I'm the most determined person I know because I dry fasted the longest. That's why I'm the most determined, because it's hard stuff, and that's what I was willing to do to resolve all my issues. But what do you know? I have my life back. I can live life and do whatever the hell I want without any parasites, without any autoimmune issues, and I love it. I want to scream on top of mountains all the time, and just like, I understand what yodeling is. Like, people who yodel are people who are super happy because it's a really dorky thing, but you're kind of just letting out a noise of joy, pretty much. I don't yodel, by the way. I would absolutely love to hear about your spiritual experience, Jordan says. Yeah, I'm down for that, but I'm not sure if other people in here are as well. It seems like most people are in here to cure sicknesses and diseases and stuff. So I think I'll just post a video about it so people can just kind of click onto it. And I'm obsessed with the spiritual aspect of it. I think that's all there really is in this world, and I think that it's amazing what you can accomplish. Like, people worship Jesus Christ, and he was an elite faster, like, more so than myself, you know. So like, he did a 40-day fast, and I believe he did a 40-day dry fast, and he was also like coaching fasting retreats too, like, not like authentic retreats, but people would follow him. They're like, oh, you're a guy with wisdom, can I just like walk around with you? And they were like, how do I rid myself of parasites? And so he would do like 7-day dry fasts, and he would make sure their enemas were clean beforehand. So this is what a spiritual guru was doing. And so what he do, he figured out how this whole world works, and then he started just downloading all this divine information because of his long fasts. It was a known thing. He was obsessed with like ancient information while he was living. So he only lived 2,000 years ago. It's not that long of a time. And he would be obsessed with what the ancient Egyptians were doing, what Abraham was doing, what Adam and Eve were doing, you know, like, so he wanted that information. He was a truth seeker. And so, and he pursued it. He was talking about spirituality at the same time he was understanding physicality. And these long fasts showed himself that he was not dependent on anything else besides thyself, you know. So therefore, he dissolved all the calcifications, and now he looked inward at such a capacity that he realized that the truth is right underneath your nose at all times. The healing requires nothing. It requires no pharmaceutical drugs. It requires nothing. It literally requires nothing. You just sit there and you watch yourself heal. Your body wants to heal you. It has so much love for you. It's the only thing you can trust is yourself. So you want to be able to utilize that vessel for your own healing benefit. And this is what they call the good news. The good news is sharing this information, right? Because people get to know themselves as well, and inadvertently get to know God. So that's my whole thing. So obviously that's why I talk about fasting all the time. My family's like, well, you talk about something else. I'm like, I'm just going to develop a damn Instagram channel, and just so I can talk about fasting with people who want to hear it. Yeah, so you can see this live. I'm not going to screw this one up. I screwed the last one up, and it was like a fire live stream that people were asking like super good questions. So I'm gonna answer like one more question and call it a night. And it comes down to the next one I see. But I'm gonna screen record the next ones as well. So I'm gonna contact you guys with the questions I didn't answer, and or if I don't, just DM me, and I'll be happy to answer your questions as well. Yeah, I'll screen record it and see what everyone else said, all their comments, so don't feel like you were unseen. I'll answer this one really quick, and then the last one. Should I also do 5 enemas on a 3-day water fast? Yeah, do you want to do, if you do an enema session, you always do like 4 to 5 enema sessions in one session. So it's 5 enemas, which are 64 ounces, and you clean out your colon as much as possible. It's all about being in a really clean state. Get your colon empty and clean, and then proceed into a fast. So your body is unobstructed. It's only able to focus on itself. It's not focusing on that bullshit and fermentation that's going on in your colon. That's the aha moment. Foods are fermenting in your intestines because nothing is digesting. So it circulates in your bloodstream, causing calcifications, causing tiredness, nausea. You want to throw up. Get all that shit out. Stay in that empty state, and that's when the healing occurs. You're welcome. That's the golden nugget. That's it. Like you can be okay with that. So yeah, the last question of them all is Hevs VB. Because I'm thin now and craving fats, but I need deep healing, so less fats, I guess. So because I'm thin now and craving fats, but I need deep healing, so less fats, I guess. So since this is the last question, I'll kind of answer like it more in a more robust format. So you shouldn't go into a long dry fast if you are very skinny. If you look anorexic, you have no fat to dry fast with. So your body's going through the fat stores so quickly, and it's not able to kind of transition more fluidly and naturally. So usually you have enough fats to kind of last you until like 20 days, you know, that's as long as I've went. And then you're kind of like a rail. But if you're already a rail, like you're not really getting into an autophagy fast enough for you to actually get the healing benefits. So get yourself fat, good and fat, you know, before you embark on like a healing dry fast. Yeah, if you're craving fats and like some carbs, some healthy carbs, go for it, you know, because people get obsessed with like these fruitarian diets and like juice fasting, and it's really good. It's a cleanse. It's a true cleanse. But like you have the tool in front of you. You have water fasting and you have dry fasting. This is my own perspective, and you don't have to subscribe to this at all, but you have these tools, so therefore you can build your body in between these fasts. You can get some carbs in there, you can kind of get a little bit of density. I'm not saying any unhealthy foods, just like raw foods and some quinoa, avocado, some coconuts, like mangoes. I OD on mangoes. And then you embark on a dry fast after you got yourself good and normal, you know, and then you can last a long time. And certain things happen to the human body at certain times, and everybody like the dry fast works so fast and proficiently that it's gonna heal you in a very short period of time. So you want to, and it heals people at the same exact times relatively. Like most people get healing on 11 days dry fasting, 9 to 11 days. For me, it wasn't that case. I had to get healing on like 15 days for myself personally. So you wanna build up the fats, and if you're craving whatever you're craving, just make sure you subscribe to it, and like make sure it's a healthy craving, because what you're gonna do is fasting will delete the bad bacteria in your body, and it'll repopulate. It'll just delete all the bacteria pretty much. You repopulate the bacteria with healthy foods, so make sure you break your fast with healthy foods, because you're pretty much saying like you're filling your body with only the healthiest bacteria that are now speaking for you, because all bacteria is having an influence on you. So just make sure you kind of digest more healthy foods. So yeah, eat the fats if you want to. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna screen grab all this stuff. So I just put my thing on so I can look at the other questions. And so, wow, actually, I think I went through, okay, no, I didn't. Okay, so I see everyone's questions and everyone's comments. I love you guys a lot, and I'm not gonna be able to do this once a month like I initially planned. I'm usually super aggressive with all this stuff. Everything I do is very aggressive. Obviously why I do a 20-day dry fast. So I'm able to see, so with this I was like, I'm gonna do a dry fast coaching once a month and like really help a lot of people out. But it's a lot, it's a big mountain to climb, and it's just too much inundation with like comments. So I'm just gonna do it once every 3 or 4 months, and whatever I feel like it. So this is the last live stream right now, so I'm happy you guys are making it live. Things are more fun when you see them live. And but yeah, so I'm happy that you guys, people who are here that are actually doing a 3-day dry fast, congratulations. You guys are all badasses. You're almost at the finish line, and it's gonna be blissful when you start sipping on that coconut water and breaking this fast. So congratulations. Like anybody who does a 3-day dry fast is a mentally strong person, no questions asked. and you experienced abundant autophagy, you experienced HGH got amped up, you experienced anti-inflammatory benefits, and you experienced a pulling on your lymphatic system, and you experienced cancerous cells left the body. You killed off like disease and sick cells, and now only the healthiest cells are now proliferating in your body. So you're essentially becoming like a stronger being altogether. But I'll be here tomorrow to tell you how to break the fast. And just want to say that I love all you guys, and hopefully you have a great night. And I will see you next time. See ya.